LCD with a cracked screen. This particular model is of a Vestel construction, 17MB60 chassis, I think. I will know more when I open up the back. But this is the norm, what you get. You can see. Typical cracked screen. Impact point, like a pane of glass. The only way of curing this is a screen replacement. To buy a new screen would be beyond economic repair. What you would have to do is either find the source of a used second-hand screen. You might find them on eBay sometimes, but transport problems, I wouldn't advise buying them abroad. If you can collect them yourself, that's always the best option, because they wouldn't be packed correctly. What we're going to do now is I'm going to take the back off this unit and start taking out the screen. It's not a very complicated affair on most modern LCD. There's only a few panels on it and a few connections, and while every LCD screen wouldn't be the same, it wouldn't be much more work than what I'd be doing on this. All screens would have a connector going up to the T-con board, and they would have some kind of connection to the backlights, and then you got your speakers obviously, and you got a bezel, this bezel that goes around the actual screen. All LCD screens would have this. I'm going to reposition the screen, put it on its face. I'm going to start taking the back off this, and I'm going to start by taking off the screws around the outer edge. All models wouldn't be the same as this. You might have some screws going down here as well, holding it in at these points. For this particular one, we're just going to start here on the outside. And cordless screwdriver is always handy. Makes it a lot faster. Now let's give this a try and see as all the screws out. The main lead would have to be clipped out here. And put it back off. And as you can see, the stand comes with it. And this is a Philips screen. There is two versions of screens in this, and you have to be very careful. You could have the Samsung screen or the Philips screen, and the main boards are not interchangeable. If you have a scrap Vestel chassis out there of the same make, and you open it up and you have a Philips screen in one and a Samsung screen the other, you can't change these boards up. They're not interchangeable. These connectors are in a different position. That goes up here to your T-con board, and it will blow this board and possibly your T-con board as well. Okay, right. We'll start by disconnecting this connector here that goes to your inverter board. And we got our speakers here as well, and I noticed one of the holes is damaged on it. Always lots of tape on Vestel. We got this connector then that goes down to the front control board, and we got our speakers connector. It might be easier to take it out from here. Put them back. Now we got our T-con board here. Take that off. And this we have a screw here. On some sets you might have more screws underneath that, and you'd have to take this board out of the way. But this one seems to be only one there. Another cable here. Yeah, let's lift it up carefully to see does it grab anywhere else. We have this here, whatever it's doing, it seems to be grabbing. Okay. And underneath you can see this cable is taped to the screen. Now we're in a position to take this screen out of its bezel. I'm just having a look around. Most screens would have retainer screws in them, holding the screen into the bezel, but I can't see any on this. Just going to undo this tape that holds these cables against the screen, and see if it'll lift out. Okay. That's the screen out. When it comes to ordering a new screen, most people will not have access to manufacturer's part numbers, but there's a way you can search for your part on the internet. Google search. There is a tab on it on all screens. This particular one here, there is the actual screen type, LC320WXN, and then you have the letters then in brackets SC and B1. Sometimes those letters in brackets could be different and the screen would work. It's something to do with the control board and the inverter. It could be a slight bit different. As far as I know, I don't have any information on the panels, the data on different types of LG panels. But the one I used to replace had different numbers in them brackets, and it worked. I was assured it would work. With the data I had. But if you type that LC320WXN in Google search, or on eBay or some of them places you might find a suitable second-hand screen. Now I'm going to put this new screen back in. The screen I have is not an exact part number for this particular one, but I'm being informed that it should fit. Fits physically. Now we have to check it electronically by putting it together. I should have no problem with this T-Con board because it is the same T-Con board as the one I've taken it out. Well, not the exact same, but near enough. It's only a matter now of putting it together and see does it work. And saying I have nothing to lose by doing this, as the unit is really a write-off at this stage. First connector I'm going to put in is my T-Con board. There is release catches on these. You just press them in before you pull them out. You just don't pull them out. Then we've got to line up our board. Speakers up here. Line up the brackets. I'll try and put them back in where I got them out. Stick that to its cable. Put our inverter connector in. A bit of tape on there. This is foil tape. It's available from the likes of Radionics, companies like that. Just hold it in place. Got this connector here. Got to go into this point here on the main board. And it went up underneath this cable. And connected in there. Then we have these bits of tape to hold it in place. Connector to the control board here at the front, and then our speaker connector. Okay. Tape on the wires. Stops them vibrating. we have the screen in place now with all our connectors in place, and what I'm going to do before I put the back in, I'm just going to power it up and check for a picture on the front, and to see if all is well. What I'd be worried about is any burning smell or anything like that, which would really mean that the screen is not compatible with it, and I've really written the unit off. But anyway, let's power up. Press the standby button, light flashing. Light on, and as you can see, we have a picture telling me there's no signal, but it's a start. What I'm going to do now is get the back on. The mains cable has to clip in to the back, slides in, a little bit tricky. I'm just going to now set it up. I'm going to pause the video till I have it set up for a signal and see what kind of picture we get. I'm going to power it up. Light flashing. Okay. I'll tune it in now. It's automatic. I'll just do digital. Analog is gone. I'll pause the video and we'll get back recording when it's finished tuning. I've tuned in some channels, and the picture is okay. I get a bit of digital breakup, but that is down to the extreme weather conditions we're having here at the moment. Plenty of wind, plenty of rain. It's blowing a storm out there at the moment. All I can say is really that I brought this unit back to life. I was lucky I had a second-hand screen here to stick in, and I can do an economic repair on this unit, and the customer will be fairly happy to get it back. Hope that's of some help to use out there. Replacing a screen nowadays in a LCD unit is not really difficult. You've just got to follow all the ESD precautions when you're doing it, and you don't damage the new screen as you're putting it in. They are very delicate. They will crack like a delicate piece of glass, and if you see that little spider web going across your screen, you know it's damaged. You might only have one crack going across, like a pane of glass. But hope that's some help. Thanks for watching.